Imagine not being able to read the paper because your hands were shaking. Imagine not being able to read newsprint as your world faded to black. The National Federation of the Blind, Newsline, Indiana. Monthly Report. With your host, Lee Martin, and co-host, Florence Myers-McSwine.
I want to welcome you back to the National Federation of the Blind, Newsline, Indiana Monthly Report, a great free service. Pay attention to the commercials as they roll. There's a lot of information there, and you'll see a lot of individuals with the Indiana affiliate that actually use the service. And we just want you to get your pads, your slates and stylus, and any method that you use to take down information, to gather this information and share it with individuals about the National Federation of the Blind Newsline service. Once again, it is a free service that gives citizens that are blind, visually impaired, those with certain forms of dyslexia, and even those with the shaky hand syndromes, and those individuals that are deaf-blind. For the first time, they have the opportunity to use some technology that allows them to read newspapers, national newspapers, the Wall Street Journals, the Times, and all over the country, magazines, and their local newspapers. Independently, they can use certain tools such as the landline phones, the Victor Reader String, the phones that, what do we call it, Florence? What do we call those smartphones that we have now, the Android phones, and all these different phones that we have out here. I'll tell you, it's just mind-boggling to some of us seniors. So we just want to say...
No.
So, Florence, let's talk a little bit about the magazines and things of that
certainly
nature.
will talk about the magazines. There is a lot of magazines. If you like sports, there's ESPN, there's Sports Illustrated magazines. For parents and family, there's Parents Magazine, Family Fun, Family Circle. If you're into healthy living, healthy activities, there's also Diabetic Forecast. It gives a lot of good information. WebMD is also a good one. There's magazines like Reader's Digest. For people that want inspirational reading, there's Guidepost magazines, Multicultural magazine, Ebony magazine. GQ is there, Glamour magazine. So there is actually something for everyone. And it's a fantastic service. So it's some good stuff out there.
And I don't know why you left out the AARP magazine.
Well, you were focusing on seniors, so I just
so the AARP magazine and the AARP newsletters, so there's a lot out there to access, as well as TV guide listings and job listings and weather reports. So continue to watch those commercials when we go on break, and we'll be back with Abby Valines.
I just graduated college as a blind student. How can I independently find job listings?
Thanks to the National Federation of the Blind, visually impaired Hoosiers can hear newspapers, circulars, and magazines from across the globe.
It is a fantastic service.
Learn more by calling 855-963-6476 or visit nfbnewsline-in.org.
We are the nation's blind, and we read NFB Newsline.
Over the past 100 years, the faces have changed, but our mission has remained the same. To create paths to independence, to usher in opportunities for employment and equality, to replace obstacles with open doors, and to let people know it's possible to move forward, even when you can't see the way. Bosma Enterprises, navigating blindness since 1915.
If you or someone you know is visually impaired or print challenged, the National Federation of the Blind has a resource you need.
I use NFB Newsline when reading Hammond Northwest Times.
Using NFB Newsline, I read the Christian Science magazine.
Dad, you read Jerusalem Post too.
Learn more by calling 855-963-6476 or visit nfbnewsline-in.org.
Live the life you want. Read NFB Newsline.
It's free.
We want to welcome you back to the National Federation of the Blind Newsline Indiana Monthly Report. And we are here with our special guest on part 2 of our interview. So, Florence, let's talk with Abby. Abby, how are you doing?
I'm doing all right.
Okay.
Doing pretty good.
Okay.
Abby, it's a pleasure to have you back again.
Thank you for having me.
All right. Now, last week we got a lot of, we talked with you about a lot of things, mainly about your growing up and your dad coping with MS and how it affected the family and the challenges that came along with it. But we also know that with, with trials, there's also triumphs.
That's correct.
And so that's what we'd like to talk to you about today. Because we know that while things have happened in your life, wonderful things have happened in your life, and your dad has always been a part of it.
That's correct. Yep.
So let's talk about those things, Abby.
Okay. I went to college at IUPUI and got my bachelor's in history. What I was going to do with it at that time, I wasn't sure, but I wanted to do something, and so I worked after I got out of college, I worked at a veterinary office for a year, and then I took a tour at Bosma Enterprises of the Rehab Center, just to see what it was all about. We have a very close family friend who volunteers there, so he just wanted to show me what Bosma did. I was very impressed and was thinking about volunteering myself when I was off. When I saw the rehab center, it kind of clicked.
Okay, so prior to working at Bosma, you had met people that were coping with blindness?
My grandmother is actually has macular degeneration, and she lost her vision in her right eye prior to before I was born. So she'll kill me. She's 79 and is still living a quote normal life, just doesn't have vision in her right eye. So
I hate to cut you off. I'm sorry.
Go ahead.
Now, did your father with the MS, is he coping with vision loss?
No, he is not. He doesn't have any visual challenges that we are aware of. He just wears glasses for distance and to watch TV. So.
Okay. So coming into the Bosma family.
Yes.
And you're learning more about rehabilitation of blind citizens.
Right.
What would you say was your most challenging part of learning the blind community?
Oh, what was my most challenging part? Learning how much to help. I think that's relatively normal. You don't always have to jump up and do everything for somebody. That's what I had been used to doing when my dad wasn't able to use his arms anymore. So then I kind of you ask, do you need help with that? Or if it looks like somebody is having difficulty navigating, or if something's in the way of, if they're walking down a hall and there's a wet sign, tell them, oh, hey, somebody just mopped there. There's a wet sign on your right, move to your left. Just little things like that.
And I know over time, because I know at the a lot of places we go to, and one of the facilities is a gym, they have wet signs everywhere.
Right.
And you know, it kind of behooves me that, you know, sighted people have to have wet signs. You know, they know the floor is wet, you know,
Yeah.
but it's all legal.
You know,
You know,
exactly.
so, but yes, because I have knocked over a few of those signs before
Yep.
in disgust, and you know, pick them back up and keep on pushing.
Exactly.
You know? But there's so many different etiquettes as you talk about
Right.
dealing with blind citizens, and maybe we can talk a few of those etiquettes.
Yeah.
You know, do you find yourself having to holler at a person or raise your voice
Not
at
at
a
all.
person because they're
Not
blind?
at all. No. I knew not to do that. I think that would be very rude. People would sometimes do that at my dad, or if we'd go out to eat, people would ask me what he wanted, and I'm just like, no, he can talk. What do you want, Dad?
Yeah, I run
you know, that
third
kind of
party
thing.
thing too. Yeah, what does he want?
What does he want? Well, Dad, what do you want?
Yeah,
that
I
kind
said,
of
well,
thing.
I asked the waitress, well, you tell me what I want. You know, I mean, if I don't know what I want, then maybe you can tell me what I
Right.
want. You know, so you know, there's certain aspects to blindness, and you seem to have learned a lot in
I
rehab.
have learned
you
a
know.
lot.
Now at Bosma, they also do the cooking and some of the other. Talk a little bit more about rehab over there.
So there are 6 different areas. There's orientation mobility, where you learn how to use your white cane and navigate safely. There's personal management or independent living skills. So you'll learn how to cook safely in the kitchen, whether that be preparing meals or actually cooking, different cleaning techniques, and then organization and labeling. And you can use, you know, and I want to say in this whole area, you can either use what vision you presently have, or you can also do what we call training under the occluder. So you're blindfolded, so non-visual training. Then we have communications, where you're introduced to the different types of communication methods as an individual who's blind or visually impaired, whether that be Braille, tape recorder, and then you also learn about the different publications that are available to you, whether that be publications from the Talking Book and Braille Library or NFB Newsline. Then there's manual skills, where you learn basic in-home repair and maintenance, and you do different projects to help and enhance your tactile skills. Because as an individual who's blind or visually impaired, your fingers become your 10 new eyeballs.
Now, one of the things we try to prepare people for through rehab is, you know, the everyday living once they leave
Absolutely.
Bosma, and
Absolutely.
then also individuals want jobs, they want
Right.
employment,
Right.
and with employment, sometimes when you lose your sight, you have to start all over again with, like you talked about, mobility training and some of the technical technical skills
Using
that
the
you have to
computer
use,
again.
and using the
Yeah.
computer and learning how to use the screen readers and things
Right.
of that nature.
So we help people build their resume again. We work on interviewing skills again. You know, some folks haven't, you know, have had the same job for 25 years and then are just unemployed, and then are going to have to start from square one all over again. So we want to get those folks ready to go.
Because a person doesn't lose their educational skills,
Correct.
and they still, if you're a doctor, you still can
You're
be
still
a
a
doctor.
doctor,
If you're a veterinarian, you can still be a veterinarian.
Right.
I even met a blind mortician.
Okay.
You know, so you don't lose your skills.
You sure don't.
And that's one thing that we have a very difficult time with our society as educating our society, that we still have skills, we still are employable.
That's correct.
And we don't have to be subjected to sub-minimum wages. And those are things that we'll talk about at some other point in time. But you have come a long way.
Right.
Didn't you say you're married now?
I am married. We've been married for 3 years.
Okay.
My husband and I.
And you have a son?
I do. He'll be 2 on May 14th, probably after this is aired. So, yeah, he'll be 2. We're very excited.
And then Mother's Day will be coming up real soon. And happy Mother's Day to you. And happy Mother's Day to Florence and all the mothers out there. And we also, you know, when you got married, you said your father danced.
He didn't dance.
I mean, he attended the wedding?
He did attend the wedding. So his best friend that he's known since he was 6, so that's over 50 years of friendship, escorted me down the aisle. My dad was at the end of the aisle waiting for me. And when our pastor said, who gives this, gives her away, my dad said, I do. And then for the father-daughter dance, we'll dance to Sweet Talking Woman by the Electric Light Orchestra. So when I was 7, we had made up little dance moves to the song, and so we did those. So it's very cute. It's very sweet. Well, that's really neat, and I know we're going to have to take a break here, because my sweet-talking producer is in my ear, and I got to take a break. Okay. So I'll dance on to a break. Okay, sounds good.
And we'll be right back. You gonna count me down?
We have disabilities.
And we make you uncomfortable.
It's why you love to vote as prom king.
Do you remember us on Monday?
You are afraid to see us fail.
It's why you place us in jobs
with few challenges.
We make you nervous.
So you do really silly things.
Like talking louder
to someone who's blind.
Now, think about that.
And then take a deep breath.
Relax.
Relax.
Just be yourself.
Be you.
Just be cool.
Because most certainly,
I am.
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 This guy is.
We are.
Help us celebrate Indiana Disability Awareness Month just by being you.
Please show your support by sharing this video. I am a blind vendor, and one of the things that I truly miss is reading Vending Times magazine.
Hoosiers can hear Indiana magazines, circulars, national magazines, and information from across the globe. Learn more by calling 855-963-6476 or visit nfbnewsline-in.org.
It is a fantastic service.
Subscribe free to NFB Newsline today.
I'm Danny Wayne Beamer, Program Manager of the Elder Blind Program at the Will Center in Terre Haute, Indiana. I introduced the NFB Newsline to seniors in 13 southwestern counties in Indiana. I also utilize the NFB Newsline for my radio station public affairs shows. The NFB Newsline, experience it today.
Learn more by calling 855-963-6476 or visit nfbnewsline-in.org.
We are the nation's blind, and we read NFB Newsline.
Welcome back once again, and we're here on the National Federation of the Blind Newsline, a monthly report with Abby. And Abby, I just want to thank you again for sharing so much information with us.
Well, thank you for having me.
And we got several other questions that's been fielded. Florence, you want to share some of the questions?
Sure. Now, Abby, we know that with the MS with your dad, and the roles changed somewhat.
Right.
From what we call the shifting dynamics, where you had to become the caregiver of your dad at certain times.
Right.
So can we talk a little bit about that?
Sure. That did happen. It wasn't. I don't know. I look back on it now as a woman, and I really didn't think much of it. But I know that it did happen. So I think it was difficult for him because he was the alpha male, did everything. Everything, cooked, did the grocery shopping, everything. So, you know, it was the breadwinner. So it was very, I think, very difficult for him to do and maybe accept a little bit. But he always did it with humor and joked around, and we'd make jokes about certain things. You know, whether it be getting him into bed or helping him out of bed, or making sure helping him make dinner, kind of things like that. You know, it was always, he made it fun. It wasn't like a chore. It didn't feel like a chore.
And it sounds like you're still at a point right now where you're just continuously building memories.
Right. We are.
And you have a son.
Yes, he'll be 2 in May. My son Flint absolutely loves my dad. He will walk up to him, and my dad will be in his chair, and he'll just wrap his legs, he'll wrap his arms around his legs and just give him a big old hug. Or, we'll hold him up and he'll hug my dad's neck, or play with his watch, or try to play with his chair, kind of things like that. It's a lot of fun. He loves his grandpa.
Wow.
Yeah. And my dad loves being your grandpa too.
I bet. Now, with your being, a mom, and look at things a lot different. As children, when we look at our dad, we're like, okay, that's my daddy.
That's my daddy, yeah.
Yeah, and as you get older and become a parent, then you look at things a lot different.
You look through, you look at things through a different lens.
You do.
Than you did before you became a parent. Yep, you do.
So overcoming the adversity with love.
Absolutely. I realize now that, kids out, that are watching now, you may not know this, but your parents are trying to make your life, quote unquote, as as normal as possible for you. They're trying to make sure you have everything you need, and they're working hard for you every day just to get that for you, because you're number one.
Yep, you're number one in their book.
Exactly,
That's
you're
right.
number one in their book.
And someone once told me that the only thing normal in life is normal on the dryer.
Yeah, we had that talk. Yeah, we said this in my family. The only thing that is normal is the setting on the dryer. That's all that it is. So I think your normal is what you make it. So
the words of inspiration that you would leave for a family or a child.
Right.
What words would that be?
It's going to be okay. It's hard. I'm sure it's hard right now, and you're in a different place, and just trying to work everything out with through your family. You may have just found out about a diagnosis, or you're in the middle of it, but things will be all right. You will get through it together as a family. You will.
Okay, and then as a volunteer, you spoke a little bit about volunteerism.
Right.
Can we encourage someone to volunteer for the BOSMA, National Federation of the Blind?
Absolutely.
Okay.
I think you should. I think it's a great opportunity, and I think you'll enjoy it. Even if you're not you don't know anybody who's blind or visually impaired, I definitely encourage you to come volunteer, and you'll gain a lot from it.
And they can visit that, get that information off of bosma.org?
That's correct, under volunteer.
Under volunteer, bosma.org, under volunteer.
Yep, volunteer opportunities.
Volunteer opportunities. And, I would encourage individuals to step outside of your quote-unquote normal pattern of life and take a look into the blind community and the other communities out there that's coping with disabilities. Also, the National Federation of the Blind, you can visit our website as well at nfb.org to find out more information about the National Federation of the Blind. And we encourage you to do that as well. I know that you guys are having your open house, or have had your open house.
Yeah, after the
And,
series.
Bosma's always open for visitors to come through,
We
correct?
sure are. If you would like to take a tour, you can, I'm sure my contact information will be scrolled by, but there's also a 1-800 number on the website. You can give me a call.
Okay, so we're going to take a short pause, and we'll be right back to wrap up our show.
With my failing eyesight, I'm not able to read regular newspapers, and I'm not able to keep up with obituaries.
I've been a homemaker all of my life, but since my vision has failed, I wish I could read my favorite magazines.
Have you heard of the NFB Newsline?
Learn more by calling 855-963-6476 or visit nfbnewsline-in.org.
Subscribe free to NFB Newsline today.
If you or someone you know is visually impaired or print challenged, the National Federation of the Blind has a resource you need.
I am a CFP practitioner, and I happen to be blind. I rely on NFB Newsline to keep me current with Wall Street Journal and the Financial Times.
Hoosiers can hear Indiana magazines, circulars, national magazines, and information from across the globe. Learn more by calling 855-963-6476 or visit nfbnewsline-in.org.
The National Federation of the Blind knows that blindness is not the characteristic that defines you or your future. Every day we raise the expectations of blind people because low expectations create obstacles between blind people and our dreams. You can live the life you want. Blindness is not what holds you back.
We're back, and Abby, once again, thank you so very much for all the information that you shared and opening up your travels through your life to this point in time.
Yeah.
It's been a great inspiration, and as Florence spoke on, from trials to triumphs, and you continue to triumph,
Right.
and you share that so much with your community, and that's to be commended.
Oh, thank you.
And Florence, you got any closing words you would like to share with our viewing and listening audience?
Well, I've listened to yourself, Lee, and Abby, and it brings to mind Colossians 4:6. Let your words be seasoned with grace, that you would be ready to give an answer to everyone that heareth you. And that way it gives hope. And that's what you've given today. Abby, thank you. Hope. Thank you for coming.
And we just want to say once again, with love, hope, and determination, you can change individuals' lives. So take care. We'll see you next week. And that's no pun intended. So join us soon.
The National Federation of the Blind Indiana Monthly Report. For more information, go to nfb-in.org or call 855-963-6476. That's 855-963-6476. The National Federation of the Blind encourages you to live the life you want.